need inspiration, motivation, or hope? Do you let fear hold you back? Sometimes you feel lost or just stuck in your own thoughts, and you want a clear path to give you results. Then, my friend, you are in the right place. My name is Rachel Best, and I am your host of How to Make a Mark in the World, Finding Your Signature. Go ahead and grab a pen and paper because you're going to want to take notes.
Oh my goodness. Today is January 1st, 2024. How excited are you, Amanda?
Oh my gosh. Today has been already amazing. Like one of the best days ever.
That's awesome. How awesome is it that New Year's Day fell on a Monday to start the whole new year? Like, how awesome is that? I'm like, that's so cool. Thank you. But today, my friends, here on How to Make Your Mark in the World, we have a special guest. I got the opportunity. Oh my gosh, it's been almost a year, Amanda. I believe February will be a year.
Yep.
Yeah, wow, that went fast. So in February, it's been almost a year since I met this amazing woman, and she just like has such a heart, has such a servant heart, is so kind and knowledgeable, and she has a lot to share. And she is definitely making her mark in the world. And so I'm so excited to have you on today, Amanda, to just come and share with the audience whatever's on your heart today, to share with them, to start their new year off right, to kick it off right, to start moving into the 2024 season of the year. And so go ahead, Amanda, tell us who you are and how are you making a mark in the world.
Oh, wow. What an intro. Thank you so much, Rachel. You are one of the most amazing women I have met this year. And I am so glad to be here. So thank you. So I'm Amanda Ewers, and I am in Minnesota. I've been doing coaching in many different modalities over the years, and professional educator, speaker, author, all the amazing things. So I put my tagline here as Success Navigator, because I've really been thinking how do I really want to make that mark this year? What is that thing that I really want people to take away when they meet me? Like, what is that thing I can help them do? I want to help them navigate how to be successful. Like, I want them to find that. That has been the thing that I have been working on. And no matter what modality I've touched, it's been to help people be successful in the thing that they are setting out to do. And you brought up Monday and in the new year falling. My daughter asked me, she said, "Mom, do you think the mall or the gym is going to be busier on Monday?" And I really had to take pause for that. See, one thing, I'm not sure that you know this about me, Rachel. I have done group fitness for probably 7 years now. I'm an ACE certified group fitness instructor. I've done yoga, gone through the study to do my 200 hours. I've done all of that. And January 1st is a really big thing when it comes to the gym world. And so I thought I'd kind of come on today and bring that, that little persona with my little hoodie here. And I got to thinking, I said, it's interesting that you bring that up, because the gym probably would be busier today. The gym would probably be busier. And then she's 12 years old. So she's like, "Well, why do you think that?" And the thing is, people have this arbitrary date. I saw a post yesterday, and there was kind of a debate going on of people and starting their goals out on the 1st. And with that, the arbitrary date being this thing, I'm like, but that's okay. That's okay. And I think we should give ourselves permission to start, whether it's January 1st, whether it's January 21st. It doesn't matter. But I'm so happy that January 1st starts on a Monday, Motivation Monday, Move It Monday, whatever you want to call it Monday, where people feel this desire to start something new, to feel that need of wanting to take care of themselves. And so if the gym is the busiest place today, that means that they are putting their investment in their health, in their heart, because that's what physical movement does for us. It makes our heart stronger. It gives us endorphins to make us happy. And if that's what it takes to make some happiness in this world, then I want the gym to be packed today. But maybe, maybe people couldn't go to the mall because they didn't have the money. And so they can't afford to go to the gym. And maybe they're at home and maybe they found a bottle of water or a can of beans and they decided that they were just going to lift something a little heavier today. And so I just want to take a minute and say, if that's you today, if you decided that Monday was going to be the day that you were going to start something new, I am so proud of you and congratulations. And don't let anybody say anything negative about you deciding that today is the day that you're going to make your mark. So that was one thing I wanted to just come out with and start today, because that's so important. It's so valuable to just give people credit for where they are right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is so important, because I think that people, we like to beat ourselves up over or compare ourselves, or like, oh, well, they're doing this or they're doing that, or why can't, whatever. And so to give themselves permission to start where they're at, and that's okay to just start where you're at, because we all have our own path and our own destination and our own journey that we're on. And so, one thing though is I love finding people like you, and we're part of a couple different communities. We have some circles of friends that we both collaborate with, and to have people like you to be able to just like be in my corner and just cheer me on. And, and you're so good at that, just cheering people on. I remember the day we met at the competition, and you wrote me a little note. I actually took a picture. I have a picture of it because I didn't know if I would accidentally lose it. So I do have a picture of it in my phone, saved in my phone, because you're just such an encourager, and you're just so uplifting and so positive. And I really, really appreciate you just giving that audience that little nugget today to just give themselves permission to start where they're at, even if it's a can of beans to start lifting, right? Like, you got to start somewhere. So I like that. And I didn't know that I didn't know you were Ace, but I didn't know you were, do you do stuff with Beachbody?
That's kind of where I started. And so I got certified in some of those formats, and then I moved on, and, I wanted to have that credibility. So I did go on and go through ACE. And so I've been certified with ACE for, I don't know, since the beginning. It's been a while.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. So how cool is that? So yeah. Good for you. Good for you. So tell us a little bit about, like, what I love about this podcast is people get to share, where they've been, what they've gone through, obstacles, triumphs, victories, just kind of the path, right? To get them to where they're at now, to why are they even making a mark in the world? Why is it even their heart or their passion to make a mark in the world? And so share with us today, like, whatever's on your heart to share today. Share with us today, like, what got you to here today?
All right. So I'm going to piggyback off of what I just shared, because I was that girl that didn't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. I showed up at the gym with an arbitrary date in mind. It was the first. I needed to do something different, because I had been suffering from postpartum depression. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have family. We were living in Tennessee, and my family was probably 11 hours south, and my husband's family was 11 hours north. And so we didn't have anyone there as a support system. And so when I was going through this depression for almost a year, I needed to find something that was different. And my therapist at the time mentioned, have you tried just going to the gym, just moving your body, just trying to do something different? And so I would show up, I'd go to the gym, but of course, you know, I'm not sleeping and I need some caffeine. So I'd bring my Pepsi and set it on the treadmill in the cup holder. And I'd have my Snickers in my gym bag. So when I tell you that you have to start somewhere, I was the girl who showed up at the gym and people probably wrote me off because I didn't know better. No one took the time to see they probably just made comments about me instead of reaching out and saying something that, you know, that Pepsi probably tastes really good, but you know what would taste better? Here's a recommendation.
Right. You didn't know what you didn't.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. I grew up where I was really, really tiny. Like it was really a struggle for me to gain weight. And so after I had kids and I did put on weight, like I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. You're right. And so for me, showing up, that was my hard. I had 2 babies that I had to load up in the car and I had to take to the gym and then I had to drop off at the childcare center. This is all before I even get on the treadmill. And this is after very little sleep and battling with whatever was going on in my mind. And the post that really brought all of this up for me yesterday was someone made a comment about, you know, all of these people setting these goals for the new year and that there's going to be people that aren't cheering you on. And so those are the people that you need to ignore. And then, of course, it starts this whole feed of people talking about, well, if people are waiting until the 1st and this and that, and it angered me in a way that I was like, I feel like this person just needs to be educated because they are only seeing something through this one lens. They are only giving themselves this hardcore mentality that you either do it every single day, that you don't just set an arbitrary date. And for me, that didn't work. I needed to be ready to say yes to myself. And there's a lot of people out there that just aren't ready to say yes. And maybe they're going to try today. And then in 3 weeks, they don't have the support system. They have all the people that are telling them that they can't because they don't have somebody like we do, Rachel, in our corner. You don't have somebody cheering them on and saying, you absolutely can. What are the hurdles? Maybe it's the Pepsi can in the cup holder. Let's take this and exchange it with a Gatorade, right? Like, let's just exchange it with something else. Let's just try there. Let's just try walking on the treadmill because you're probably going to be uncomfortable in about 7 minutes, you know, and that may be all you give today. But I want you to pat yourself on the back and say, I did that today because I didn't do it yesterday. You're not competing with the girl who's been showing up since October 10th because they wanted to be ready for New Year's, right? You're not competing with her. You're not competing with the person who is on a sports team at school and the gyms are closed at school. So she's at mom's gym getting her workout in because she has a competition in 3 weeks. You don't know what the person beside you is working towards. You cannot compare yourselves with them. And so if today is the day that you start, celebrate the smallest win, even if it's waking up and just putting your workout clothes on. Like
Yeah.
we have to get to that point where we can celebrate the small wins, because you want to know what the secret sauce is?
Tell
It's
us.
that.
Yep.
It's those small wins. It was the fact that I changed from drinking Pepsi to drinking water. That started to change my skin complexion. That alone. That had nothing to do with me moving my body and loading the kids in the car and all of the other stuff to get me to the gym. It was just making the shift in what I was drinking. Then that gave me a domino effect into how I was sleeping, which made me get to 10 minutes instead of 7. And then my body didn't crave sugar. It craved protein, or craved different things. And so then I was able to lean into that. I found another woman who was going through the same situation, going through postpartum, and she gave me more tools. Then I had a friend, then I had accountability. So it doesn't have to be someone you live with. It doesn't have to be someone you've known for years, because when you're making changes in your life, those are usually not the people, honestly, that are going to cheer you on. And it's sad to say that. It truly is. That's why there's so many coaches out there. I'm betting, Rachel, you probably in your years did not really find coaches, right? I think we get to a point in our life where we're like, I've tried all of these things. And then you ask for what you need, and then the teachers appear because now you're ready to learn. Right. And I think if you're seeing coaches, if that is something that you're seeing in your peripheral, in your, your news feed or whatever it is, if you're starting to see coaches pop up, that's a sign. That's letting you know there's somebody out there that's got what you need to help you move forward. Because what's working right now, or what's not working right now, we can change that. We can help you. And so that experience led me to have my own transformation. And I said, if I can do that, if I can pull myself out of, not having anyone supporting me, not having any previous knowledge, starting literally from the Pepsi can on the treadmill and 2 babies, no family, going through depression, I've got to be able to help one person. There's got to be one other mom out there that's going through what I'm going through. Yeah. And my baby's 10 years old.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So I've been doing this since it's been 9 years that I've been really just looking for women who need help in navigating that next step.
And something that just popped in my head as you were just talking is that, sometimes we feel like we're on an island by ourselves. Like we don't know what to do because we don't know what we don't know. And sometimes we don't even know. And that's what I love about people like you and doing this podcast. And hopefully somebody will stumble across it and they'll listen to it and they'll hear like, oh my gosh, like she went through that too. Because I don't know about you, Amanda, but I know in the last 2 years that I've been speaking, when I go to speaking events, whenever I share my story, there's always multiple people in multiple different areas of my story that I've overcome that are so parallel with the people in the audience. And so even though this is a virtual online audience, but just one person, if they hear that, you know what? Oh my gosh, like that's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at right now. I am that person that doesn't know, I don't have the tools. I don't have the support. I don't have family. I have these little babies. I'm a single mom. They might even be a single mom. You had a husband. They might even be a single mom. I know I was a single mom for 5 years, and my kids were 5 to 11. For 5 years, I was a single mom. So, it can be rough. It can be rough. And I went through depression as well. And so, but people like us, like the reason the podcast, How to Make a Mark, the brand, How to Make a Mark even is here is because finding your signature, what are those gifts, those talents, those life experiences that you've been through that you can share with another person that is going through what you've already been through. You give them hope. We give them hope. And so that is the whole purpose of How to Make a Mark in the world, and why, I'm so grateful God even laid it on my heart, and it just keeps expanding. And so when you think about where you were and where you're at now, like, what are some of those other tools? Like, you gave us a couple tools of like, just start, and find somebody, and when you're seeking, when you're looking, the teacher shows up. But what are some other tools that you have been able to put into your toolbox? Actually, I saw your post, I think it was yesterday, with the toolbox. I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. So what are some more of your tools that you could just, if there's that one person watching today that's like, man, like that's where I'm at right now, what would you share with them?
So on the journey of getting through that, one of the biggest things that I did differently was really tapping into personal development. It was part of, so back to doing the Beachbody, that was kind of the thing. There was a new program Shaun T came out with, and I was like, all right, he said I could do this in 30 minutes a day. I'm gonna take your challenge on, right? And 30 days in, I'm sitting on the bed in a towel after weighing myself, and I'm frustrated that I didn't have any progress. Mm-hmm. And my husband, he said, you can't quit now. Mm-hmm. You committed to this. And I wanted to just literally throw in the towel and be done with it. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I had been working on was the personal development. I'd been reading books, and I didn't really grasp everything as I was going through it. You have to kind of start from the bottom and climb your way up to the top. And I sat in survival mode for so long. To even reach up was hard for me to do. Mm. So there's 5 levels, and we can look at this from the pyramid. I can't think of the name right now, the hierarchy of needs, right? And so when we're looking at that pyramid, that's really the foundation of personal development. You're going to start in survival mode a lot of times. But if you can reach up, that's going to be where you're reaching up to other people, where you are trying to find a coach, you're trying to find an accountability partner, you're trying to, maybe your spouse, maybe a friend, you're literally reaching up and saying, I can't stay stuck here. If you can reach up and pull yourself to the next level, then you can start seeing some value in yourself, because let's face it, as much as we don't want to compare ourselves, and we shouldn't compare ourselves, we do find our own value in how others value us. There is this need for an emotional connection. So your first pillar is going to be your mental foundation, to be able to break out of this mindset to say, I really need something. So you're going to reach up and trying to find an emotional connection. Okay. So that's the second part. So we got mental and emotional. Once you get to that place, you can then find that support your relationships, your support system, starting to find value in yourself, you're going to pull yourself up to that next ring. And that next ring truly needs to be where you start seeing yourself in a different light. We'll call this maybe the physical pillar, because this is now an action in how you are seeing yourself.
That's good.
This is where self-love starts to get wrapped in. This is where you are taking actionable steps to demonstrate love for yourself. Now, if you lose your support system, you come back, right? And you got to pull yourself back up. So you might go between rings. The goal is to never find yourself in survival mode. That's that bottom part, is to never find yourself stuck here. So you're going to be moving through these pillars, but the importance is to make sure that you're making deposits in them. So if you can get your mind right, you can start thinking differently. You're going to draw in people around you to build your support system. So then you're going to go into that emotional piece. Then you're going to start seeing yourself differently. You're going to start taking care of yourself differently. So then we're getting into the physical piece. In that light, once you start building confidence, your confidence is going to allow you to now really bring into a piece of gratitude, really tapping into that spiritual pillar. That spiritual pillar is at the top. Not the very tippy top, but it's right there. Because if you can bring yourself out of survival mode, surround yourself with like-minded people, be mindful how you're taking care of yourself, tap into your spiritual pillar, then the last one is financial or abundance. And that's why that tiny part, and when they say the 1%, because look at all of the other stuff that you've got to deal with, that you've got to climb through to be able to get to the top. And it's hard to stay up there because you got all this other stuff that's pulling at you. So I'm really big on these visuals. Those are my 5 key points that that's my foundation that I teach to every single client, is we have to start with our pillars, with our hierarchy of needs, however you want to call it. I call them the pillars, but you have to be making conscious deposits into them every single day. Because if we're not aware how they are tying into each other, then we stay stuck. A lot of times people have an awareness of some of that. They have an awareness of maybe what level they're at, but they don't know how to navigate through them all and to bring the success of tying them together. And so that's what I do. I help you pull in your value system. What is important to you? What are your goals? How do we now take that and build it into the pillars so that we can become that 1%? How do we get there?
That's good. That's really good. That's powerful. Thank you for sharing that. That's really good. And you're so right. Like, we have to be making deposits into all areas of our lives at all times, because if it's at 0, we're bankrupt, right? So, like, we have to be making deposits in all those areas of life and seeking out people. Oh my gosh, Amanda, like, we have just been, I'm so blessed that we have such a support system of people around us. And, there's people everywhere. There's people everywhere that are creating positive communities, positive, like-minded, positive. I know you have a community. I have a community. We're part of a couple different communities together. And, there's so much out there. So I want you to really kind of touch real quick, because we just have a few minutes left. I really want you to touch on a little bit about your community and what you've created and what the vision is for your community.
So my community is Women of Armor. So that is my women's only group that I have. And in that group, we are really focused on the foundational piece. We're focused on how are these pillars representative of the armor of God. So we know that the armor of God, we have, the breastplate, the helmet, the belt, like all of those pieces. And so we really do take it's not spiritual. It has the undertones of it, because I want to be careful and to make it it's inclusive, because not everyone is practicing the same spiritual beliefs. And so I want it to be an open community. The foundation of the armor comes from the essence of armor of God. And so we use some of those representations into the pillars so that we can ultimately bring ourselves to that spiritual place, however it is that you practice. So that is the foundation of it. We teach the pillars and we tie in the representation of archery, armor, however context you want to take it. And from there, once people have kind of graduated from the foundational piece and they find success in where they're going, I've had people that have been in a career for 15 years and they've decided that they want to do something different and now they're thriving. I've had people who have not been able to look in the mirror for their whole life, who are now out there doing photo shoots and really putting themselves out there. Women are making some huge strides in this community, and I love watching it. Last year, I brought out the master's armor. And so that is now a co-ed. And that is where you're going that next step. The pillars, you've got this, like you're actively practicing it. Now we're really focusing on the business part of it, or taking yourself to the next level. So I've had some clients in there who have decided that maybe they want to start their own business. And so that's where we're at. They've been practicing the pillars. They've been really involved in doing that. So now they're ready to, all right, now that I got all these tools, what can I really do with it? And so now they're taking themselves to the next level. Through that experience, I designed a book called Consistency Objective. And that is where it is your interactive planner, I call it, because it's not just a planner. This is where you are getting guided lessons each week embedded into the book. It's a journal, planner, guide. I haven't quite determined like what's the best thing to call it, because it's all encompassing. So it's the Consistency Objective book. It's available for pre-order. I'm putting so much value in it that I just couldn't release it prematurely on the first. I really wanted this to be a substantial piece in someone's life. And so it's available for pre-order. I'm still packing some stuff into it, and it will be available in the next 2 weeks for people, because that's really when people are going to need that nudge to continue.
Yeah.
And I want to be there to support them. If they're starting today And in a couple weeks, they find themselves needing that community, needing someone to really help them find the balance in those pillars. They're just not, again, getting that support, finding their flow, being able to put things in a consistent habit. Then I want to be there to offer my hand and say, all right, where do we start?
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to be there for them. And I'm hoping that the consistency objective is a tool to help me do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you're so right. I think it's like 14 to 21 days after the new year, they start falling off on everything. So they're all gung ho on the first. So, but Amanda, I so appreciate you taking your time today, just pouring into the audience, just sharing your heart today, sharing your wisdom. You gave a lot of little nuggets of wisdom, and I know I took some notes. And, if people want to get a hold of you, follow you, contact you, how can they do that?
AmandaEwers.com. And all of the things are there. I'm on all the socials. So you could find me there, but my website's going to have all of my links available. So AmandaEwers.com is the easiest way to find me.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, again, I thank you so much for your time today and just sharing so much wisdom, your heart, and just everything that you've shared today. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for this time together. It's always a great conversation. We should probably do more conversations, but I know we have busy lives and we can't just be on the phone with everybody all the time, right? So. But I'm sure I'll see you tonight on one of the communities that we're both a part of. So hopefully I'll see you on there tonight. And until next week, my friends, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
This is your host, Rachel Best, and I hope you loved the show. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, as well as share with a friend. If you would like, you can follow me on Instagram as well as Facebook under Rachel Best. You can also find me on my website at rachelbestspeaks.com.